Hey guys, TrepChains here on the PTR for Diablo 3 patch 2.6.8, trying to test out the new wizard set, which is the Typhon's Veil. Based around Hydras, which is kind of cool. I like Hydras. But it's a bit interesting in that you max out at 10 Hydra heads here with 2 sets up. But if you get hit, you lose a head at a time, which is dropping your damage because damage multiplication is based around how many Hydra heads you have up. So bit of an interesting set. So if I stand close to mobs like I did just then, I'm gonna lose those things. And also based around channeling because you're running with Death Witch and Etch Sigil. My wizard is a witch. I'm running this at around 3,000 paragon points. Okay, in the top left it says I have a lot more, but I've only assigned 3,000 points. The rest are unassigned to simulate what 3,000 paragon looks like, because that's probably around what I could do in a season. So if you look at my paragon, you can see there's a bunch unassigned to take me down to 3,000. Enemy of this is things like ranged mobs and ground effects like these poisons there. They just wreck my Hydra heads by hitting me multiple times quickly. So I'm using Arcane Dynamo, so I've got a signature spell there to build those stacks to try and give my Hydras a little more damage as well. I am only running a GR 105, which might seem a bit low to some people, particularly for 5,000 paragon, but I don't really feel this is a very strong build as is. If you look at the PTR leaderboards, you could be like, okay, well, sure, but lots of people are doing a lot higher, but a large majority of them, I'm running Disintegrate here as my channeling skill. A large majority of them are running Arcane Torrent instead. And Arcane Torrent is bugged on the PTR right now for patch 2.6.8. And it's actually giving double some of the channeling bonuses. So like from your Death Witch and Etch Sigil, for example. So it's not really like running with Arcane Torrent doesn't give you a realistic view of what this set is going to be able to do on live, so that's why I'm choosing not to run with Arcane Torrent and instead running here with Disintegrate, trying to understand what this can actually do. Now Wormhole is going to be a big problem for me because if it transports me somewhere where I'm getting hit a lot. So just trying to channel here as much as possible to take out that yellow. So it can be really good on elites, you know, if you get your channeling going. And aren't getting hit, but yeah, with things like range mobs where you get hit, it's quite tough. Works relatively well with squirts because assuming you're not getting hit or getting hit, but it's still within your shield from like your galvanizing ward and the like. Not too bad at keeping squirts up with this build because you're trying not to get hit anyway. Okay, now channeling hopefully through fire. Go on, I'll take that. I don't really like this map. It's not a great map for this build. Very hard there. I didn't get many elites. Really, I need to be killing elites, but I can't kind of avoid killing the trash simply because if I avoid killing trash, it's going to hit me and lose my stacks. So a bit of almost like a slow play build in my opinion. Gotta kind of kill most of everything, not necessarily everything, but a lot of stuff. Make sure that you are not getting hit too much. Which is one reason you'll see also a lot of people on the boards are running really high with Hydras, but they won't be running on this set at all. They will be running a Legacy of Dreams or Legacy of Nightmares version of the build, because that doesn't have this Hydra head disappearing problem that we have here. So they're using the other items that were kind of buffed to work with this new Typhon's Veil set, but not using the set itself because of this effectively pandemonium situation. Here I am in Pandemonium Fortress, where, you know, we're losing Hydra heads every time we get hit. You see on there I'm right at 8 right now. And in addition to that, you'll find people running that Legacy of Dreams, Legacy of Nightmares with Arcane Torrent that is bugged. So you'll see some really high clears, but they're, you know, often not running the set itself because of this problem with the Hydra heads disappearing and how that wrecks your damage. And they're also running, often at least, the bugged Arcane Torrent. So it's not realistic of what's actually going to be achievable with the set. Which is why I'm, yes, running a bit differently myself. I can't seem to channel here without getting hit. So channeling is really important to have that damage max out to be able to kill those elites. They're dead before fire, or some, the ones that were there were. What must be missing one? Oh, there's one still over here. Things up. Hydra's up and try and channel now, but they keep coming to me, these things. So I've got to be very careful because I don't want to be getting hit too much. Coming out, that'll help my Hydras get him. Oh, frozen is bad. I can't get out of that. There goes all my Hydra heads in that frozen. See, that's like you get a ground effect below you. I've had trouble obviously with frozen just then, with plagued, with desecrator, right? It could just wipe your Hydras immediately. So I do feel like this losing a Hydra head every time you get hit is quite harsh. And on that basis, it's unlikely that it'll be run in any kind of high GRs. It's a fun build, but I'm only running a 105 with 3,000 paragon points assigned, and that's pretty low in the scheme of things for what a lot of builds can do, you know, at the present point in the game's life. Channeling doesn't really do much for me. I try and use my arcane, my signature spell for Arcane Dynamo anyway. Shield, however, is a great pylon because it stops you getting hit. Which stops you losing your Hydra heads, which obviously keeps your damage at a lot more optimal value. Oh, I didn't have my magic weapon up. I wonder how long I haven't had magic weapon for. Been focusing on other things. Match up there. Here's some elites. That's what we like. Throw a Hydra near them. Throw another Hydra near them, and then channel. Oh, see, okay. The Blazing Guardians are bad. You see how quickly I lost 5 Hydra heads there as soon as I had some fire under me. So if you keep moving, obviously you're also breaking channel. So yeah, ground effects are the enemy of this build. Just for, you know, you want to be channeling, you want to not be losing your Hydra heads. The situational build almost, which is one of the reasons it won't be so great for pushing. Oh, I've got a conduit. Won't say no to that. And get there safely though. Relatively safely anyway. And more elites there. Okay, into a cathedral here. Throw some hydras down because I can. I've got an elite here. Good. My Condi's out now. Channel. Fire. Channel. I ran out of Hydra heads, so they had something put underneath me. Didn't notice immediately. Lost all my Hydra heads. Too busy focusing on trying to channel. My own fault. Fire. Okay. You see, if you get a fire and you are actually channeling with a bunch of the heads alive, you can like do a bunch of damage. But that yellow went down pretty quickly when those when they targeted it. So fire again here. Why that second one wasn't even attacking. 97%, nearly Guardian time. Another elite. Clearly preferable progression-wise for elites. It kills elites quite quickly if you are able to channel, if they don't have ground effects that are throwing under your feet. Putting a lot of ifs on this, aren't I? Oh, I froze. Okay, just need to teleport out of there. Oh, okay. Here's the boss. Here we go. Marathon. Start channeling. Now, fire should get it if it doesn't get me. I'm risking my life here. There we go. Okay, so that is the new Typhon's Veil set without Arcane Torrent. So you can see that I was using Disintegrate as my channeling to be more realistic because Disintegrate isn't bugged like Arcane Torrent is. I'm going to level my gems real quick here. Pick something super low. Okay, so just quickly show you what I'm running. So you can see. So let's say I'm running with 3,000 paragon points assigned here. So of my 5,600, like 2,600 aren't assigned to imitate 3,000 paragon. Running the new Typhon's Veil set. This is a gear I have, just what I picked up on PTR in the last day, basically. Intelligence, Vit, crit hit chance on the helm. Ideally, instead of the Vit, I'd prefer the Hydra damage on that helm. You can see here the 6 bonuses as well. So we get double duration of the Hydra, so there's less need to recast them. And increase the number of heads on multi-headed Hydras by 2. So the standard multi-headed Hydras is 3. But my fire multi-headed Hydra now has a 5, so that's increasing it by 2 there on the 2-piece set. Now, the 4-piece is where it's interesting, and what's really, I think, hurting more people using this set. Damage taken is reduced by 8% for each Hydra head alive, so it's also like my survivability. If I lose them, I die a lot quicker. Each time you take damage, a head dies. Now, it says each time you take damage, but really it doesn't matter if it's a very small amount of damage, right? So it's really every time you're getting hit, or it seems to be, because I was keeping my squirts up, and squirts is like about taking damage, and I'm keeping my squirts up even when Hydra heads are dying. So yeah, it's a little unclear how that one's working. And then Hydras deal 1000% increased damage for each Hydra head alive. So considering you can place out 2 of them, that's 10. That's your maximum, maxing out there on your Hydra damage. So like 10,000% is what I'm assuming that is. But yeah, they're dying as soon as you're getting hit. Okay, so on my shoulders, I'm running Intelligence, Armor, cooldown and Hydra damage. I prefer some Vit over that Armor. On my chest, I'm running Intelligence, Vit, and Hydra damage. On my hands, I'm running Intelligence, Vit, Armor. And on my boots, I'm running Intelligence, Vit, Armor, and Resist All. I'm only wearing 5 pieces because I do have a Ring of Royal Grandeur as one of my cube pieces. And I do that to allow me to run Tasker and Theos. So this increases the attack speed of my pets, and my Hydras are pets, by 50%. These Tasker and Theos are a strength pair because it's what I had, but attack speed, crit hit damage, crit hit chance are great stats to have, and I've augmented it there with some intelligence. I do have some augs on various pieces ranging from around 125 to a 141 on here where I can, just to, you know, imitate what I might be able to do in a season. Ashnagar's Blood Braces. So these increase the potency of your shields by up to 100%. These are 95% that I'm wearing. And this works with Galvanizing Ward, which is really handy for keeping up squirts. Moving on to jewelry, we're running squirts. So we're not taking damage, and this is why it works well with this set 4-piece bonus. Damage dealt is increased up to 100%, and damage taken is also increased. So obviously that's a negative of the squirts there, but if you're not getting hit and you're not taking damage, it shouldn't be a problem. Obviously your first hit, you therefore take a lot of damage. On that, I'm running 5 skill damage, crit hit damage, and vitality right now. Obviously, instead of that, I prefer some critical hit chance. And I am running the fire hydras right now. Obviously, you want your, like, I've got fire on both of these pieces. If I was running a different element, you just change that element there. Okay. Other jewelry. So running Halo of Karini. So I've got on this crit hit chance, intelligence, and damage. Ideally, I'd want crit hit damage, crit hit chance, and probably attack speed. But you're wearing this because you take 80% less damage for 5 seconds after your storm armor electrocutes an enemy more than 15 yards away. So if your storm armor is hitting some things a little bit away, that's going to help you survive. So this one's obviously primal, but I think normally that range is 60 to 80%, so you want your orange stat up that top side. Running Convention of Elements, you do need to try and watch your cycle to get max damage, but keep in mind your channeling items, which is your Death Wish and Etch Sigil, are only going to activate after 1 second based on the changes in these patch. So you want to make sure you're channeling like in the last quarter of the element before your main element when you're going for that to get the maximum damage out of your COE. I'm running this with crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and a damage roll. Ideally, I'd probably prefer that damage roll to be attack speed once again. Attack speed is really handy for my pets. Okay, running Death Witch and Etch Sigil. So running these for those channeling buffs. So as I say, I'm channeling Disintegrate. In PTR, at least, I don't recommend channeling Arcane Torrent because it is bugged right now. If you really want to see what you can do, it's not the one to be using. So Death Witch, the bottom orange stat goes up to 325%. So you see here, this one's at 293. It's just what I've managed to grab here on PTR. But my stats are okay, right? A reasonable damage roll, a plus damage roll, intelligence, and attack speed again. I'd like as much attack speed as I can kind of get, really. So that's all right. And my Etch Sigil, so this one goes, the orange stat there, the damage boost on the channeling goes up to 150%. So the one here I'm running is a 145. But my stats on that are quite good as well. So damage roll, obviously you want that as high as possible. Intelligence, crit hit chance, and Hydra damage on that. I do also have a critical hits grant 3 arcane power, and that's handy to keep up your channeling anyway. So I think it's a handy stat to have. Okay, normal gems. I'm running a % life in my helm. I'm currently running intelligence in my armor. You could replace that with strength or dex or some armor if you like, but I've just gone for the damage in this particular instance. As I say, this is only a 105 with 3,000 paragon points assigned, so I do feel it's underpowered at the moment. And critical hit damage in the weapon. Legendary gems being run, trapped. Obviously, trapped seems to be a staple in any damage field because CCing stuff and then it takes more damage is great. Enforcer, so this is increasing the damage of my pets, and my Hydras are pets, so a damage boost to my Hydras, which is what this build is based around. And Taeguk, so this is about increased damage when you're spending on a channeled skill. So again, it's boosting your damage when you're channeling Disintegrate, and that's also therefore boosting the damage of your Hydras. Okay, quick look at the cube. I'm running Serpent Sparker, so this is one of the things changed in patch 2.6.8 as well. You can have one extra Hydra active at a time, so that's why I can place out 2, and they deal 600% increased damage, so that's a very important multiplier to get the damage to the Hydras. The Magistrate's another big new Hydra multiplication here in this in 2.6.8. Your Hydra is now periodically classed Frost Nova and deal 600% increased damage as well. So having them in the cube is handy because normally they'll have a range if you're wearing them. But having them in the cube is, you know, kind of helps because you get that maximum 600%. And as I mentioned earlier, running Ring of Royal Grandeur mainly so that I can run those Tasker and Theos. Okay, Paragon. Say I've assigned it 3,000 points, so I have all points over in utility, all points in defense, all points in offense. In core, I've put all points in max arcane power, all points in movement speed, a couple hundred in vitality. I'm not totally sure I need that, but then the rest of them up to my 3,000 into intelligence. Look at the skill screen now. Running Spectral Blade Barrier Blades, and this is specifically for the Arcane Dynamo stacks, which is one of my passives. Disintegrate Convergence for all those channeling buffs. Hydra Blazing Hydra. Say for this version of the build where you are running the new Typhon's Veil set, you just want one of the multiple headed Hydras, so you can pick anything but Mammoth Hydra, and just make sure that the element you're using to buff matches your Hydra element. Storm Armor Power of the Storms. This specifically works with my Halo of Carini. Teleport Wormhole, just for a bit of utility. And Magic Weapon Deflection, just for a bit of a buff to both my defense and my damage there. So that is also giving me a shield, which is helping out. Passives running Audacity for extra damage to enemies close. Arcane Dynamo for those, try and getting up those 5 stacks to boost my Hydra damage more. Unstable Anomaly, so Cheat Death helps basically, and Galvanizing Ward. So this is a really important shield, which is really helping me keep up my Squirt's necklace very well. Okay, so that's the build. I think overall it's underpowered with 3,000 Paragon assigned. I've just done a 105, not great. Those Hydra heads disappearing are pretty damaging to the build. And as I said, I am running Disintegrate rather than Arcane Torrent, so I don't have the bugged multipliers in there. And honestly, I feel like this should be able to do about a 125 solo, so a 105 is, I'd say, well below the power. I would hope that if Blizzard change it, they don't consider changing some of these things, which will just buff the Legacy of Dreams or Legacy of Nightmares versions. They'd consider maybe a buff the set, so maybe the 6-piece set, that Hydra still 1,000% increased damage. Maybe they can increase that, so it's really just buffing the Typhon set as opposed to, you know, all the supporting legendaries which get buffed the Legacy of Dreams and Legacy Nightmares versions as well. Quickly showing the close. Thank you very much for watching, and GG.